Hello, lovely people. I'm Dr. Jessica Sternfeld, and I'm the chair of the Conservatory of Music here at Chapman, and it's really nice to meet you all. Let's start with this. Everybody, in a second, I'm going to ask you all to unmute yourself, holler your first name, and a piece of music that you listened to today. Everybody all at the same time. Think about it for a second. What's a piece of music you heard today, or a song that's stuck in your head? Got it? All right, everybody unmute and holler that piece of music, your name and that piece of music. Ready? Go.
Lynn, Bunky
Dawn,
Broker.
Hard Knocks.
Yeah.
And waving T-Rex.
That was excellent. I understood some of that. That was excellent. Well done. Okay, you can remute if you want to. I'm just going to wait for a couple more people that are coming in. Welcome parents, welcome students. Welcome friends. Oh, I see several parents that are here on behalf of their kid. That's very nice of you. My high school student just texted me to ask for money. So that's what I did for my high school student today. Okay. Hi, I'm Dr. Sternfeld, and I'm the chair of the Conservatory of Music. And here's what's going to happen in this hour. I'm going to talk at you for maybe just about 10 minutes and tell you some basic things about the Conservatory of Music. I'm going to tell you the kind of programs we offer and what you can study here and all that kind of stuff. And then I'm going to ask some current Chapman students to talk with you, and you can ask them questions and see what they think about their experience here and, get the real scoop on what it's like to be a student here. So me for just the first few minutes, and then our students for all the, important stuff. Let me show you a couple of things on my little slideshow. So everybody see my lovely slide?
Yes.
Very good. Okay. If you're just joining us, welcome. I'm going to tell you a few things about the Conservatory of Music here in the College of Performing Arts here at Chapman University. That's me. That's my name, Sternfeld. You spell it just like it sounds. If you ever have any questions or you want to tell me about something or find out about something, email me anytime. I do my best to answer emails really, really fast. Little tip, my name is Sternfeld, but if you want to email me, you have to take the D off the end. Sternfeld@chapman.edu. Feel free to take a screenshot of that or a picture of the screen or whatever is convenient for you if you want to. If you have general info about anything about the music program or anything at all, you can email music@chapman.edu, and that email will go to my colleague, Katie Silberman, who is here today. She's our administrative assistant. Hi, Katie. She knows everything about everything, and if you have a question, she can always point you in the right direction. So those are the two most important emails to know if you have questions about anything. Here's a little bit about us, the Hall Musco Conservatory of Music. We're an undergraduate program, and we focus a lot on that. We have 4 degree programs, several of which have some subdivisions in them, and you can see them listed here. We have a Bachelor of Arts in Music, and if you do the Bachelor of Arts program, you can specialize either in music and culture or in music industry studies, which just opened this year and is super exciting and popular, and students really seem to like it. We also offer 3 kinds of Bachelor of Music degree. One in performance, so if you're going to be a performer in voice or oboe or cello or conducting or anything like that, you would be a Bachelor of Music in Performance student. If you're a composer, the Bachelor of Music in Composition is the way to go. And if you're a future grade school teacher, if you want to work in the kindergarten through 12th grade ed system, then you want the Bachelor of Music in what they technically call pre-music education certificate. We just call it the music ed program. So we have all of those here for the undergrads. One of the things that makes Chapman a little bit unusual, because we're a conservatory, we're also a liberal arts school. So everybody at Chapman has a music major. All of our music students have a music major, but then they also have something else. So you might have 2 majors within music. You might have a music major and a something else major. You might have a music major and some sort of minor. We have a strong liberal arts program. So this is a great conservatory for the student who is interdisciplinary or who really wants to study something else as a complement to your music degree. We really encourage that. So you can get a conservatory degree and be a double major in anything. And you'll still finish on time, I promise. Here's a few pictures. So you can get a sort of a virtual tour. This is our building, one angle of our building anyway. That's Oliphant Hall. It's got Bertea Hall sort of stuck on the other side of it. It's kind of two buildings in one. So that's our main entrance. And over on the right, that's our main rehearsal hall. On the right, a slightly blurry picture of our extremely cool tech lab, one of our tech labs. There's our rehearsal hall on the left with some students working on chamber music. And on the right, that's Salmon Recital Hall. That's our performance space that's right in our own building where you would perform recitals, solo recitals or group recitals, studio recitals, or anything that, you know, can basically fit in that room. Small ensembles and chamber groups all get to play in there. So you'll have the opportunity to perform in there probably multiple times every year. Just a few steps away from our building is the Musco Center for the Arts, which is a 10-year-old brand new building. And isn't that a gorgeous picture? That's what it looks like from the outside with its beautiful sweeping lawn. And this is what it looks like from the stage. It seats about 1,000 people, and it's absolutely glorious to perform in. And you, the theater students and the dance students, are the students that get to perform in there. We also bring in a whole roster of visiting performers every semester, and you get to work with them as well. So they perform at the Musco Center, and they also do performances with our music students and master classes and class visits and all sorts of educational things that go with it. So the Conservatory and the Musco Center work together to bring all sorts of opportunities to our students. A little bit more about the conservatory in each of our programs. As I mentioned, we're an undergraduate program. So you know who your teachers are and your teachers know who you are. Some of them you might work with every semester for all 4 years. So we can really personalize your education. And it means that you, even as a first year, get to perform in the opera and the orchestra and the wind symphony and all of the small ensembles because those opportunities go to you. Just makes us a little bit different than a lot of other conservatories. Here's a little bit about each degree. So our Bachelor of Music in Performance, you can see some of our lovely student performers in that picture. We study classical music, popular music, jazz and opera, musical theater and film. We have large ensembles, chamber groups, and solo opportunities. Of course, we also study technique and repertoire and history and pedagogy so that by the time you graduate, you are a well-rounded musician, no matter what your major is. You can work with each other, with our faculty, with dancers and actors and filmmakers. We work a lot with especially folks in the Dodge Film School. And we'll also connect you with industry and community folks so that you will have internships and jobs by the time you graduate. I just want to point out as a highlight in these photos, the picture on the lower left of that little array. This just happened a few weeks ago. That's our orchestra playing live to picture with Star Wars. We have an exclusive deal with Disney, which is about 12 minutes from Chapman's campus, to perform the scores to Disney pictures, Disney films live. So that's our orchestra playing the music of Star Wars. I was sitting up in the balcony and it was incredibly exciting. Some of the students we're about to talk to got to play in that. And they said it was fabulous and challenging. Very exciting to be there. Our composition program, to me, the most special thing about our composition program is that because it's undergraduates, your pieces get read and performed every semester. So we have an ensemble, the new music ensemble that's devoted to playing student compositions. That happens every semester. And we also bring in professional ensembles and artists every semester. So if you're a composer, you get to hear your pieces played, performed, read, recorded, even mixed and produced that semester, which is really exciting. Here's a little bit of info about the Bachelor of Music in Music Education. It's what they call a 4+1 program, which means in 4 years, you'll have an undergrad degree. And if you stay for a fifth year, you'll have your Master of Arts in Teaching and your California teaching credential. So it's 4 years plus 1 year, a 4+1. As it says there, your BM, your MAT, which is your credential, your master's, and your teaching credential in 5 years. You'll be in the field, you'll be teaching, and you'll be ready to work after those 5 years. It's a great, very successful program. We have a perfect record of placing teachers when they graduate. Here's a word about the Bachelor of Arts in Music, the Music and Culture track within the Bachelor of Arts in Music. This is the degree that you would do if you're interested in how music relates to society, how music and culture go together. You can study any kind of music from any time, any place, any sort of tradition, and that becomes your specialty. And that means you can head off to a career in academia, like musicology, which is what I am. I'm a musicologist. Or ethnomusicology, public outreach, arts admin, anything that has to do with what music and society say to each other. You can design your own path and your own topic. And our newest major, the Bachelor of Arts in Music with a music industry emphasis. This is all about going into the music biz. We have 3 different specialties within this program. One is what we call recording and production, which is basically music technology, how to record, how to produce, how to mix. Music business, which is just as it sounds, all about the music business. And then a film and media track, film, television, internet music. The highlights of this include internships and connections in the industry so that you can start working even while you're still in undergrad, and working with Dodge. Dodge is always in the top 5. I think it's number 4 this year for film schools in the country. And our music industry students get to work with the Dodge College of Film and Media Arts. So you get to work with the film school all the time. Here's a little list of all of the ensembles you can play in if you're here. We have 3 different choirs, plus the orchestra and the wind symphony. We have our own opera program, undergrad, entirely undergrad opera program. Multiple jazz ensembles, a commercial music ensemble, which works on pop music and various related things. A mariachi ensemble, one of the first in the area at the college level. You can play early music, you can play new music, percussion ensemble, and a bunch of chamber groups. There's a few highlights. The one with the people in the bear suits, that was last year's opera production, just in case you're wondering. That's Mozart. As a side note, we also have 4 music minors. Some of these you can do if you're a music major. So you can actually, depending on a combination, you can major in music and minor in music. Not all combinations, but a lot of them. Minors in music include what we call our general music minor, which is kind of performance focused, film music minor, music technology minor, music business minor. So depending on your interests, you can add a minor to your music major and learn even more. And that is the whole overview that I want to give you, because what I really want you to do is talk to our current students. I would love to, I can help. I will answer your questions about majors and minors and all the things that we offer, the ensembles, the performing opportunities. So think about your questions. You're welcome to put them in the chat if you have them. But in the first place, what I'd like to do is have our students introduce themselves. So current students, tell us your name and your major, your instrument, maybe just a sentence about why you picked Chapman or what Chapman offers you. We do have some students that are running from choir rehearsal right now. They got dismissed from choir 1 minute ago, so they're on their way as well. So in the meantime, Magnolia, I happen to see your box at the top of my list. Do you want to tell us who you are and what your major is and something about Chapman?
Oh, sorry. Okay. I'll call her back. I'm Magnolia. I'm a vocal performance major with a music technology minor. I'm a junior. And yeah, I don't know. I've done a lot of things at Chapman. I've been in like so many ensembles and things like that, which I think is really cool. And if there's a will, there's a way kind of thing.
Thanks, Magnolia. If you see another student, send it on to them. Another one of a current student, a Chapman student.
I'm gonna make Joe and Galen go. Or not, or you guys can go. You guys go. Actually, there's four of you.
Go. Do you want to start?
Yeah. Hi, I'm Calliope or Callie. I'm a music education major with a vocal emphasis, and I'm a senior this year. And Chapman was my top choice actually. I love the music program, and I have some friends who went here a long time ago and were in the choirs. So I really wanted to come and do that, and also the jazz program. The big band especially is particularly great.
Hi, I'm Madeline. I'm a junior. I'm a vocal performance major as well as a double major in strategic communication. I wanted to come here just because I knew I could double major and I love music, but I also wanted to do something else. And it's been super doable at Chapman, which has been awesome. And I also wanted to come for the choral program as well as the opera program. Hey guys, I'm Abby. I'm a senior double major in vocal performance and music education. And one of the reasons why I chose Chapman is because it's mainly an undergrad college. You have a very small graduate program here. Because we have a lot of undergrad students, the opportunities are given to those undergrad students. So as a student here, I've had opportunities to perform lead roles in opera, have solos, things that wouldn't be as available to you as an undergrad student at a college that also has a thriving graduate program. So that's one of the reasons why I chose Chapman.
Hi, I'm Charlotte, and I'm a BA music major and a film and media studies minor. And I chose Chapman's BA program because I get to do a little bit of everything. I'm doing a lot of performance, and I'm doing a little bit of composition, but I'm also doing what is my degree, a lot of musicology, which is really great. And then also I chose Chapman so that I could do their film and media studies minor with the film school, and have that interdisciplinary aspect for that supplements my musicology research. So yeah.
Joe and Galen, you want to go?
Sure. All right, Joe, go first.
Okay. Hi, I'm Joe. I'm a senior in the music BA with a emphasis in culture and history, a major, and a music business minor. I play the trumpet and French horn and other things apparently. And I chose Chapman because the school really allows you to explore all your interests in music. We're a pretty small program, but we have a very diverse list of things you can do. There's a lot of opportunities to do music tech. There's a lot of opportunities to do performance. There's a lot of opportunities to do research within the conservatory and also promoted by the school itself, like Chapman University themselves.
I'm Galen. I'm also a senior in the BA music program. I actually transferred into Chapman as a mus ed and flute performance double major. But I fell in love with musicology in my time here. And Chapman has been a real good place for me to like mold my education in the way that I wanted to. I fell in love with early music, and so I'm in the early music ensemble. But even then, doing a lot of kind of broad range performing. I've performed for my friends' recitals in the new music ensemble and then in a lot of the large ensembles as well. And that's it.
Thanks, guys. I see Landon.
Hi, everyone. My name is Landon. I'm a junior composition major and film music minor, but in the ensembles at Chapman, I play mostly trumpet, horn, and trombone. And I came to Chapman actually mostly for the film music program because we get to work so closely with Dodge. Being able to meet film students and score their films, because there are always films that need to be scored. And we also have some really, really great professors in the film music program who are in the industry themselves, so they're able to help us build connections and learn what comes next.
Thank you, Landon. Are there other current Chapman students? I can't see you all on my screen at the moment. Did you all say hi? I think you all did. Okay. I see a couple questions in the chat that I'm going to answer, and then I'm going to get out of the way so you can talk to students. Let me just back up to this question. What does the audition process look like for the Music Industry Studies program? There is an audition, a performance audition to get into the music industry program, but it's very different than it would be if you were auditioning for the performance program. It asks you only to be familiar, maybe, with an instrument and show some potential to learn on that instrument. The main thing you're doing as a music industry studies applicant is showing your interest in music industry. So we want to hear what you want to do with that degree. Do you want to go into music business? Are you interested in music law, music contracting? Do you want to produce? Do you want to sound engineer? Do you want to edit? Do you want to make? Do you want to write film music? All that sort of stuff. So that's the main thing we want to hear. And the performance audition is much less rigorous than it would be if you were coming in as a performance major. So if you're a music industry studies potential applicant, don't be scared. It's very different than it would be if you were coming in as a performance major. Now, if you come in as a performance major and you also want to do the music industry studies major, you can double in those, which is great. So then you'll have both opportunities. One of you asked about career paths and connections. Students who have worked with the film department, the film college, do you want to talk about the opportunities you've had in film, especially? Any of you want to share that?
Sure. Well, within the film department, our two major film composition professors are Professor Markey and Professor Volpe. And they're both actively working in the industry. Markey does a lot of the Disney animation, like the Clone Wars, orchestration for Ashoka, stuff like that. And Volpe does a lot of choral arrangements in the industry. And both of them I've talked to about getting internships and applications. They're able to help sort of mold your resumes in ways that the industry would like, as well as help get connections to specific people who they know, hey, this person needs an assistant. Well, I have this many students who I would like to recommend. So it's a great program.
We have, thank you, Landon, that's exactly right. We have a connection through Professor Markey and Professor Volpe, and also through Dr. Graziano, who is running the music industry program with multiple studios in Hollywood. So last spring, just last semester, a bunch of composers got their film scores performed by a professional studio, film studio orchestra, and they got to hear them played and recorded and mixed. And so our tech students got to mix and engineer them, which was great. And then 3 of them graduated and immediately got jobs because they had been part of that experience last spring. So yeah, it's a small and very well-connected program with a lot of really nice, helpful folks in it. Anybody else who's worked with film or music business want to say anything about that? I'm gonna look at, I see another question. Can music ed majors choose what they want to teach, grade an instrument, and where they want to teach? Yes, you can. So if you're interested in the music, well, to a certain degree anyway, if you're interested in the music ed program, you'll take classes to learn how to teach lots of different stuff. Choral music, band, string orchestra, little kids, older kids. So you'll be exposed to all of those things, but eventually you can lean toward whichever stuff you're the most interested in. So if you know you want to be a band director or a choir director or a little kid elementary teacher, you would take more classes in those areas as a junior and senior. And that way you'll come out with a specialty, with a leaning. So we keep it flexible, but your advisor in that program, Dr. Yee, would help you figure out what to specialize in. She'll also help place you as a student teacher. So if she knows you're going to specialize in band or in choir or in elementary ed, she'll do her very best to find you some student teaching at a school like that. And then by the time you get to the fifth year, the master's program, then you're going to have teachers in the College of Education that are going to help you get a job in your exact field. So yes, you can absolutely specialize by the time you're a junior and senior. The audition process for composition students, you submit a portfolio if you're a composition major, hoping to be a composition major, of works that you've written. Anything you've written, especially if it's been performed, is great. They want to see what you can do and what kind of potential you have. And then you also audition on your instrument. So you get reviewed by both the composition program and by the instrument. Does that sound right, Landon? Yep. The timeline for a music performance major audition process. So we have auditions coming up. Early action auditions just a couple of weeks. The rest of them happen in February. If you audition for us as a music major, it automatically makes you eligible for music scholarship, which is great. So you get considered for a scholarship, and then you'll hear, whatever the release date is in the spring. So there are multiple audition days. One, like I said, early action is coming up in just a couple of weeks, and then the rest are in February. I hope that answers that question, but if not, you can get more details, especially from Katie, who can tell you all that stuff. Is there a singer-songwriter track? Not exactly a track, but depending on your interests, either in composition or in film music, if you're leaning toward film, that's the place to go. I would also highly recommend the Commercial Music Ensemble, which highlights, I just saw them perform the other day, 2 original pop songs, both by singer-songwriters in our undergrad population, and they were great. Was anybody else at Music at Noon the other day? It was excellent. For the live audition, do you use the same piece or do you choose a new piece? It depends on your instrument. It's all on the audition website. So exactly what you need to prepare will be on there. Is it correct that if you're applying to performance major, you're only able to apply regular decision? No, that is not correct. Early action is absolutely allowed and encouraged for any of our majors. Play violin and also engaged in things like social justice. How fascinating. We would love for you to think about the BM in performance or the BA in music and culture. The BA in music and culture might be an especially good fit for a violinist who cares about social issues. Basically, what we do in that degree. Do the composition and film students use student vocalists in their works? Yes, singers. Have you been in films? Where'd my
Yes.
Tell us something about that, singers.
It's super fun. So we did a film last year.
Connor,
Carlos, who was a undergrad student who just graduated, and he wrote the entire film score, asked all of us to sing for the film, and then we went to a recording studio right by Chapman and recorded with a bunch of people. We did like lots of oohies and ahs,
a
lot of reading and and it was super fun.
It was a 13-piece women's choir for that piece. And then Abby was a soloist for some of the pieces. And then I'm doing a film score, I think for this spring, that's also a solo female singing. So absolutely. If composers want singers, we sing for them.
Yep.
Awesome. How often do students find themselves driving to LA to perform? Students, what do you think? How often do you go to LA?
To perform, I feel like we don't frequently perform there, but for you singers, we tend to do runouts during interterm for different performances and also performing at high schools and stuff. So we've definitely been to LA with you singers before.
Yeah, and if you're talking about gigging, like doing separate gigs outside of Chapman, that's something that some of the students do, but honestly, with a music degree, it's really hard to balance all of that. We have students that do that, a lot of the students, if they're doing a performance job outside of school, they would do, if you're a singer, you would do like a church job, which would be every Sunday you would sing at a service. If you're an instrumentalist, you would do separate like chamber ensembles or things like that have their own separate performances. But I would say it's pretty rare to have to frequently travel to LA because you have to.
Yeah.
Obviously you can if you want to, but it's very rare to have to do that.
Yeah, like I have a church job in Laguna, the Laguna area, so I drive out there every Thursday night and Sunday, which is a great opportunity that I actually found through another student at Chapman. And I know Charlotte also has a church job.
Yeah, I've got a couple of gigs that I do in Orange County, so it's not too far, but you could branch out and go into the LA area if you'd like, but it's not a necessity. There's absolutely a lot of performance gigs within Chapman and outside of Chapman in the general Orange County area that are a lot closer.
Less time in traffic. Plus, if somebody, when we have the opportunity to work with major industry people in LA, performers or tech or film composers or whatever, we bring them to campus. So they come to us, which is nice. Are there on-campus jobs for students to be engaged regarding vocal performance? There are on-campus jobs, lots and lots of them. Many of our students are on-campus workers, but not so much as a performer. If you're performing, you're in a class. You're part of an ensemble or a group or a class, rather than a paid on-campus performing opportunity. You get credit for it. Is there a pre-screen? Yes, you get to upload a video of your very best work in almost all cases, depending on your major. How often can a vocalist perform during the school year? It depends how many ensembles you do. The choir performs several times, depending on the choir, several times a semester. Opera has one gigantic performance every semester, multiple shows, but one gigantic piece each semester. Small ensembles perform at least once or twice every semester. So it depends how many groups you're in. Do performance majors get priority to get into ensembles or seating in ensembles? No, that's a great question. They don't. We're a small-ish conservatory, and we reseat and re-audition every fall. So placement is based on, who's most needed where, who needs more sopranos, who needs more trumpets, what the combination happens to be that year. But those opportunities are open to every music major, and for that matter, everybody on campus. So we do have some amazing students who perform with our ensembles that are business and chemistry majors and stuff like that. Not nearly as many as our music majors, of course, but we do have a lot of crossover. And, a lot of them are doubles in music and something else. Is it required to apply early to be eligible for a scholarship? No. Great question. Everybody who applies to Chapman, as long as you apply regular action on time, you are eligible to be considered for a scholarship. Oh, here's one. Can any of you answer this, students? How are students able to balance music and varsity athletics? Are any of you athletes?
I can speak a little bit. I'm not an athlete, but we had a bass player who was in the TCO who was also on track and field. I don't believe he was a music major. I believe he was an outside of music, but wanted to continue doing it. And for him, it was a little bit easier to balance. There are some things where balancing gets a little bit hard. I don't know how our friend who graduated last year managed to do it, but she was a double major and double minor.
Oh, yeah.
Ask me how she slept. I don't think she did, but it is doable. There's almost always a way to work around it, and you can almost always get away with a class conflict form to be able to be in multiple things at the same time. Where I'm pretty sure most of us, if not all of us here, have filled out at least 1 or 5 class conflict forms.
They do occasionally make scheduling a challenge. If you're a double major and a double minor and an athlete, it does sometimes lead to a scheduling challenge, but we work it out. We just always do. I see 3 or 4 questions about specific audition requirements. I will point you to the website for that. So some of you are asking, do I need to sight sing? Do I need to submit this or that? It depends on which major you're looking at. So all of the information is on our application website, and it says, if you're auditioning for this, do this. So look at that, and if you have questions, just email me. Does the Chapman Orchestra play with the Chapman Opera? Yes, every spring, the Chapman Orchestra is the orchestra that plays for the Chapman Opera. So all the students in the orchestra and all the students in the opera perform together, and it's amazing. Do you publish acceptance rates? I don't know. Honestly, don't know if we do or not. That's a great question. What does the scholarship situation look like? Can a musician get a merit scholarship that's purely academic based? Yes. So we have a huge array of scholarships at Chapman. Most of them come from the university itself, and there's different, amounts of funding that come. Those are all merit based, academic based. And then there's scholarships for music, which have to do with your ability and your interest in Chapman and our interest in you, and sort of a algorithm of factors. But yes, it's absolutely based on your merit as an academic and as a performer. Do we play with the Nutcracker at Christmas? We don't, but we have an amazing winter concert. It's coming up in a couple of weeks. Questions from those of you on Zoom that you can put in the chat, or just unmute yourself and ask your question. Want to know about the food, what it's like living in the dorm, what the cute, very friendly town of Orange is like, especially those of you that haven't been here. We're located in Orange, which is very cool and has delicious food.
Hey, Dr. Sternfeld.
Yes.
Hi, hey, my name's Chris Falk. My daughter's interested in the vocal performance, and but my question, is there a singer-songwriting track specifically, or no?
Not specifically. So I mentioned this before, but the commercial music ensemble is a great place for a singer-songwriter to go and have their music performed. The composition area, the composition major leans toward concert music. So you write for orchestra or chamber groups, choir, as opposed to what we might call popular music or the singer-songwriter track. But there is a place for that. Like I said, commercial music ensemble is a great place to take that.
Okay. And if she's doing the vocal performance, but more in that track, does she need to submit an operatic piece, or does she do the piano with accompaniment for a more popular piece?
Yeah, so for vocal performance, the audition, I don't know what the exact specifics are. You can look on the website, but it does require a classical piece, an art song, or something similar. So, if she has any experience with that, that's great. And if not, I would encourage her to think about the music industry track or the BA in music and culture track.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you. I see a few more in the chat, but I want to see if anybody wants to just unmute and holler out your question.
Yeah, I have a question. Do you have the study abroad programs available for the vocal students? Sorry, my kid's a vocalist, so I'll go down that, but it could be for all students. And also, if you guys have that like 7-week break at the holidays, is that a time where, say, someone could go abroad and be working with some other department in another country?
Yes, and yes, we do have a study abroad program, and students take advantage of it regularly. You just have to plan ahead. So you have to know like which semester you're going to be gone so that it doesn't interrupt your music studies too much and put you behind. But if we know it's coming, like you're going to be gone this spring of your junior year, for example, then we plan ahead and you can be gone the whole semester. There's opportunities all over the world. And yes, we do have what we call interterm, which is 4 weeks in January. So we have fall semester, And then we have spring semester, and in between we have this like mini semester that's squished into January. And you can take a class during interterm on campus, or you can take a travel course. And there's courses again all over the world where you go somewhere for the 3 or 4 weeks of interterm and do a whole intensive study. We have one coming up, not this interterm 26, but interterm 27. Our plan is to take at least 20 students to Japan. So it's all been approved and we're super excited. It's going to be students from Wilkinson College, which is humanities. So folks who are studying Japanese language and culture, and then as many music, theater, and dance students as we could possibly get in there to go to Japan for a month. So it's a great opportunity, and it doesn't interrupt your fall and spring studies. Anybody go abroad? Any of our current students? Have you done a study abroad? I don't think these particular ones have.
Hey, we have a couple thoughts.
Yeah, let's hear it.
None of us have done study abroad. So the tricky thing with study abroad as a music major is your ensemble credits. So a lot of majors will require you to be in an ensemble, especially like the performance degrees
For all 8 semesters.
will require for 8 semesters. So if you want to do a study abroad, you can do it, but it may delay you or it may cause a little bit of fuss. The one good thing is specifically for vocalists, since I'm not an instrumentalist, the vocalists sometimes during our interterm will have a tour with our choir. So this year we're doing a little mini tour around California, and we're going doing a couple performances and runouts. So that time is used to travel with the choir as well. And in the past, they've done larger tours as well. And there are other opportunities too. I know a lot of music students do summer programs that are outside of Chapman, but we have some that are affiliated kind of with Chapman, with some of the directors that have been here. And that's totally separate from the Chapman education, but a lot of Chapman students do that. We have 2 main summer programs for vocalists, one in Italy and one in Austria.
Yeah,
And-
I went to the Austria one last summer. And yeah, that one I found out through Chapman because I knew multiple like previous Chapman alumni because they've all graduated now. They had done it like their junior years, senior years going in, and since it doesn't work for my schedule to study abroad any of my semesters, but I was like I still wanted to have some kind of opportunity to go abroad and do something, so I applied and it was outside and it was through University of Miami, their Frost School of Music.
That's great. Thank you, students. Yeah, if we know it's coming, then it won't delay your graduation. So, if there's something you're supposed to take 8 semesters in a row, like choir, and we know you're going abroad for a semester, then you don't have to stay an extra semester to make that up. As long as we, plan ahead, it's totally fine. Do you know how many people are in each music major and how competitive is each major? We have, at the moment, about 130 majors, plus the music industry major, which is brand new this year. So we have about 130 undergrad majors in all of the different categories. Plus we have 20 some odd that have joined the music industry program just this semester. And we'll have many more of them next year, we're quite sure. How competitive is each major? That's hard to answer. Some of them are more obviously competitive than others. We have more need in some areas than others, but broadly speaking, we want you to apply. We really, really want you here. So please apply. Opportunities to study abroad for industry majors. Yes, same as the opportunity for everybody else. As long as we see it coming, we will prepare you to do it without getting behind. If you applied in one major and you want to switch to another major, how do you do that? You contact your admissions counselor, and they can let everybody in the system know what you need to do. Do you need to audition in person? No, we strongly encourage it because we really, really want to meet you. But if there's no way for you to get here, then we can talk to you by Zoom, and we can use your recorded audition. There's also a virtual option. Oh, I see Katie answered that as well. There's a virtual option, so we can Zoom with you, in real time and get to know you that way. Are lessons a separate expense? Yes. If you take private lessons, which all of the majors do, at least for a couple of semesters, there is an extra expense with that. But if you're a music major, that expense is much, much lower than if you're not a music major. So another good reason to be a major. I see a couple of particular questions about the audition process. I'm going to skip those. If a student doesn't get into the music program but is interested in other programs, how does that work in the application process? So it is possible to be admitted to Chapman, but not to the conservatory, which just means you would come in as a different major or as an exploratory major, which means you haven't picked a major yet. So that does happen. And it's sometimes the case that you take some lessons and participate in some ensembles and then re-audition for the conservatory and become a music major. Do you have to apply to both the university and the conservatory? You apply to the university and indicate that a music major is your first choice, and that will trigger the conservatory audition process. So it's not two separate things. It's one within the other. Great question here. How do you double major if you want to do two different majors? You pick one for the audition process. So if you think you want to major in vocal performance and music industry, pick one or the other, whichever one you're just slightly more excited about, and go through the process with that major and tell everybody along the way, I think I want to double in this other thing as well. And then if you get admitted to both, as part of your application process, we simply declare you as the second one once you get here. So it's a Chapman rule that when you apply to one major. That's true for English, physics, whatever it is. So you apply to one major, but if you're interested in two, you indicate that on your application. And then, we'll tell you along the way if you can do both. So you apply to one and then join the second one. I see that Katie answered your questions about the process.
I just wanted to pop in real
Yes.
quick for this question
you.
about double majoring where they both have audition requirements. So you cannot do two different audition requirement majors through the application process. And do check which majors are impacted. So if you wanted to be a theater major and a music major, you can't add theater as a sophomore or even after arriving. That would probably be the same for film production. So do a lot of research about which major you want to put as first choice and second choice. Some majors don't accept applicants in the second year or later in the first year.
Yep. Thank you, Katie. That's exactly it. Is it possible that early action will fill all the spots in a program? No, we fill some spots through early action, but there's always room through regular admission for you to apply. So if you haven't done early action and you're really interested in Chapman, by all means, apply regular timing. We want to hear from you. Are trial lessons available? Yes. So this person asked about violinists, but this is true for everybody. If you want to see who your teacher might be or what it's like to take a lesson at Chapman, we have trial lessons or testing out lessons for every instrument. You can take a lesson with a voice teacher or any instrument teacher. You can do composition. You can meet with me to talk about music history or musicology. There's a way to have a lesson or a chat with anybody. So if you want to be connected to a teacher, send me an email and I'll introduce you to someone. Let's see, I answered these. Somebody said, can you do that more than once? Yes, sure. Scrolling. Which majors are difficult to change into if we're not admitted to them? That's a great question. So they're easy to change into. The only question is how many semesters it takes to do them. So if you add a second major right when you get here, you can easily do both. If you decide, hey, I want to switch to the performance degree, but you're already a junior, it's probably going to add a couple of semesters to your time here because a major is supposed to take 4 years. But if you start right away, then it's no problem at all. I think I answered most of those. Current students, what do you think our guests should know about Chapman? Something you haven't told them yet about living here, about studying here, about clubs?
There's a great question
like-
about the cafeteria.
Do vegan students have options at the cafeteria? Students, what's the answer to that?
Yes, there's plenty of options at the caf. In terms of vegan options, there is a specific they're kind of like restaurants inside of our dining hall. They're different stations. There is one that's specifically dedicated to vegan students, and they almost always have a pretty interesting option. I think the one that comes back the most because it's popular is like jackfruit tostada, and it always sounds really good, but I usually end up filling up on something else before I get to it. I try and try all the things at the caf every time I go. And then there is a full salad and soup bar as well. Lots of fruit, lots of vegetables. People will say that the caf is not great. Those people are lying. The caf is amazing.
Yeah, and I think just gonna bounce off of what you said earlier, Dr. Sternfeld, about what really drew me to Chapman. One of the things outside of the music program was just how well integrated the school was into the community. Like Old Town Orange is a really, really beautiful area. Our campus is like a 3-minute walk from the Orange Circle, which has a whole bunch of different restaurants and coffee shops and hangout spots for students. And like everyone in the area knows that like there's a college campus here, and just as long as you're respectful, they'll like welcome you with open arms. It's a really beautiful area. The campus is beautiful as well. I enjoy walking around. It's a really great place.
I see a couple questions about on-campus housing. Is on-campus housing co-ed, and do music majors live together? Students?
Well, when it comes to being co-ed, it can be. It depends on what you fill out on your application for housing. So I think in the past, at least when I did it, there's one, at least my freshman year when I did it, it said like gender inclusive housing. And so that means you could be paired up with anyone of any gender essentially. And then I saw a question earlier about asking like how long do students typically live in on-campus housing? I think for the current incoming classes, it's that they're required to live on campus if they're like from not within a certain mile radius of Chapman. Like if they're not commuting, then it's I think 3 years now and not 2 anymore. So that's been up to 3 years. So like they're required to live on campus or in campus housing for 3 years. And then when it comes to music majors housing together, some music majors get put together, but usually they're trying to be not interdisciplinary, but like trying to mix COPA together as a college of performing arts. So like my best friend, her freshman year, she had a screen acting major as a roommate, and then she also had I think a dance major. So she had a screen actor and a dance major, and she was a music major. But like me and Landon were suite mates freshman year. So like we were both music majors. And so it just depends on how I guess the numbers add up, but you can be paired with any of the screen actors, dance majors, theater majors. They try to kind of mix everyone up so that we're communicating with the other schools in the College of Performing Arts.
Other thoughts about living on campus, students?
Maybe you can talk about the different kinds of housing styles.
I mean, you have like your triples. Oh, unless Scott, you go for it. Scott, go for it. No.
Hi, Scott.
Hi everyone. I just got out of class. I just got out of choir, actually. Nice to see you all. Yeah, there's tons of different housing options. Like outside of the fact that there's dorm housing, there's also housing in their like apartment housing, like the K or Panther Village, Chapman Grand, Chapman Courts. Every place has a different amount of people that you can have. You can have like one person to a room in a studio, but usually be a studio with like 2 other people sharing a room. You might have 2 people to a room, or like 3 people to like a room, or what's the right word? Or like an apartment, I guess. But there's lots of different combinations for how housing will work, even as freshmen, not just as like sophomores, juniors, or seniors. So lots of options.
Good, thank you. Um, We are almost at time. I'm happy to stay on and answer more questions, but I just want to make sure I at least address a couple of these that are in the chat. How many clarinets are you looking for this year? I don't want to put numbers on it. We have room for every instrument. Let's just put it that way. We're a competitive conservatory, but we are not overflowing with billions of anything. So we have room for every instrument and every voice type. So we very much encourage you to apply. And if we accidentally end up with 53 clarinets, we will find a place for you to play. Is the university having trouble with federal funding cuts? Oh, that's a great and timely question. I think every university is, but it's not the same for us as it is for a lot of large state schools. For all schools, budgets are tight these days, but we haven't experienced enormous federal cuts, which is a very good thing. Anybody else want to holler out a question? Ask our students anything? Current students, any one thing you think an applicant should know about Chapman that we haven't already said?
That it's awesome. Chapman's pretty awesome. So
If you guys haven't visited Chapman, we have a student lounge on the second floor. We call it the Fishbowl, and it's decorated with a lot of under the sea decor. And it's a really fun place. This is a really fun place where we're all friends with each other. We hang out together inside and outside of class. You're going to meet really great people at Chapman.
Thank you, Abby. That's so nice. I don't go into the fishbowl, students only. Okay, I'm happy to stay on. So if you're a prospective student or a parent and you have a question you want to ask, I will gladly answer it. Everybody else, thank you so much for coming. Please email me, Sternfell, without the D on it, at chapman.edu, and I'm happy to direct you to whoever might be able to answer your questions. Current students, thank you for participating. I appreciate your time a lot. Go do your homework and eat dinner and get a good night's sleep. Bye, everyone. Any questions from those of you that are still here?
What do you want to say? Hi, yes, I have a question.
Sure.
My name is Cristo. I play violin and piano.
Uh-huh.
And I was wondering, how would classes look like if I'm for playing two instruments?
Yeah, that's a great question. So you would audition on one or the other, before you come to Chapman, but you can absolutely do both once you're here. In fact, everybody has to take piano lessons. Almost every major has to take piano lessons, regardless of what their main instrument is. So audition with either one, either violin or piano, depending on which one you want to just emphasize first. But when you're here, you can study both. You take lessons in both. You can perform in ensembles in both.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, just pick whichever one you think is your strongest. That'll help you get in, and then you can study both.
Okay, and also I was wondering, when you take, is it recommended to have two majors, like two double majors, or a double major or a major and a minor?
That's a great question. So at Chapman, you have to have one major and then one something else. There's something else can be a second major, which is big, a minor, which is medium-sized, or what we call a themed inquiry, which is small. And you can pick any of those. So you have a major plus a something. For a lot of music students really like to double major because they're interested in multiple fields and they want to take advantage of learning as much as they possibly can. But a lot of music students don't. They do a music major and then a themed inquiry, which is like a mini minor. And so any of that is fine. We don't tell you to double major, but we absolutely encourage it if it seems to be supporting whatever your career goal is. So it's doable, which I think is rare at a conservatory to be able to double.
Okay.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Other questions from the folks that are still here?
Yeah, how many students do you actually have in the music department?
We have about 130 majors. We have over 300 music minors in our different music minors. So yeah, we're a medium-sized conservatory with a lot of activity, small to medium, I guess, compared to some schools, because we're undergrad only. Yeah.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Anything else I can answer? Any other questions you've thought of?
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Email me if you think of anything. Thanks,
Thank you so
everyone.
much.